Shoo! Shoo from here! Darn these animals. Emmanuel walked out to his porch and picked up the glass bottle of milk that had been left behind earlier that morning. Attached to it was the slip requesting the week's payment. Emmanuel grunted under his breath. It's like these people are raising the prices every day. Good morning, Mr. Alvarez. Here's the daily newspaper. The newspaper boy shouted out as he stuck the bundle in the fence and rode off on his bike. Emmanuel placed the milk inside before he locked up and squinted his way through the bright sunlight. What are you kids doing here, marking up the sidewalk? Go from here, and don't crowd in front of my house. Emmanuel hated these sunny days. He would rather be at home, but he needed to get to work. He owned a small grocery store in town. His life had now become limited to running the store on his own and returning back home at night. He neither went anywhere else or spoke to many other people. But there was a time when Emmanuel had a lovely family, a lovely caring wife. But everything changed when Gabriella fell ill. He used to be a religious man, but after seeing his wife suffer for a whole year before she passed away in that state, he became hopeless of the love of the Lord. Emmanuel, how's the morning going? Emmanuel was in no mood to converse with anyone. He sighed as he peered at his neighbor smiling at him. Just the usual, Rodrigo. Why don't you come in for some coffee? Elvira just now prepared some sweet churros. Join us. What's that smell? You like it? I made tarta de manzana, buñuelos, polvarones, and your favorite churros. But don't you think you forgot something? Really? What? You missed a spot. Enjoy yourselves, Rodrigo. I have to get to work. All right, Emmanuel, take care. When you have some free time, you should come over. The people around here were very kind and polite. Back in the days, Emmanuel and his wife used to go to the Sunday preachings with them, invite many friends and family over. They hosted parties and get-togethers, but things just weren't the same anymore. The days at the store went by slow, and business wasn't too great either, but Emmanuel didn't require much. With whatever he made, he managed to go by. Here you go, Mr. Alvarez. I don't have any change. Neither do I, Mr. Alvarez. Then leave it and go. Why do you come to buy things like this? I'm sorry, Mr. Alvarez. I'll get some change outside. What happened? He was so rude to you. Why didn't you say anything? No, it's all right. That's Mr. Alvarez. I feel bad for the man. He used to be one of the nicest guys around here, but after his wife passed away, Mr. Alvarez hasn't been able to recover from the loss, even after so many years. What are you doing, Gabriella? I'm watering the roses. Okay, let me help you. Emmanuel, stop it. This isn't funny. Really? It's not funny? Everyone is laughing. Everyone? All right then. You kids want to see something that's even funnier? Emmanuel heard a voice call him as someone entered the store. It was Miguel, a close friend of his who lived nearby. Back in the days, they used to spend a lot of time together, barbecuing, watching the games, and sharing a drink. 2 muffins and 2 cups of coffee. Is anyone else coming? It's for the both of us. I'm sure you didn't have breakfast. That's all right, I don't have the appetite. Miguel sat by the counter as Emmanuel got him his muffin and coffee. How long are you going to live like this, man? When was the last time you ate a decent meal, had a good sleep? You're a mess. Life is going by. No, man, life can't go on like this. It's not just painful for you, but it's painful for those who care about you. The one who cared for me the most is no longer here. She was my everything. It won't be the same without her. Emmanuel, it's been 4 years. You need some closure. Just a little longer, Gabriella. The doctors are coming. Emmanuel, you have to let go. My time has come. No, Gabriella, don't say that. I love you, Emmanuel. I love you too, Gabriella. Emmanuel, Gabriella. In all the years that passed, Emmanuel still couldn't forget that heart-wrenching moment before Gabriella took her last breath. She wanted to say something to him, but she couldn't finish her last words. Emmanuel pondered on it all the time. What was it that Gabriella wanted to tell him? That's not how this world runs. I've lost the chance to have closure. She's gone forever. No, Emmanuel, there's still a way. There's this old house near Mount Peñalara. You've heard about it, right? No? What about it? There's a faith healer there. Maybe he can help you. Miguel, you know I don't believe in these things. There was a time when I did. If you would have told me about him when Gabriella was ill, I definitely would have gone. What didn't I try? But I've come to realize I was just a fool. If there was a Lord, my prayers would have been answered, but they weren't. Because there is no Lord. Emmanuel, perhaps this time it will be different. This man is not like the others. He lives all alone in that old house and studies the ancient scriptures. He doesn't take money from anyone. If they go to him, he asks them a few questions. He doesn't help everyone, but if he thinks the person is right, he agrees to assist them. He can heal people, Emmanuel, and perhaps he can work as a medium for you. This is nothing but bogus. He'll not be able to do anything for me. Look, if you don't believe me, hear this. Some days back, I met Mr. Sanchez. He used to work at the post office with me. A few months ago, his daughter fell ill. He was running from hospital to hospital, but all the doctors said the illness was fatal. After struggling for a long time, he and his wife decided to bring the child back home. They wanted her departure to be peaceful. They were on the verge of hopelessness when they got news of this man and took their daughter to him, and he healed her. It's almost like he brought her back to life. Nonsense. These are nothing but stories. Okay, don't believe in it, but if not for anything, go for me. On Miguel's insistence, Emmanuel reluctantly agreed to visit the faith healer. His name was Esteban. That evening, after Emmanuel closed the store, Miguel arrived with his car. They drove out towards Peñalara, where some locals guided them to the old house in the forest. Emmanuel was intrigued when a man in strange clothing, or rather pieces of fabric sewn together, opened the door. His long beard crossed his chest, and his hair came down to his shoulders. He stood there staring at them intently without saying a word. Mr. Esteban, my friend and I have come here. Before Miguel could say anything more, Esteban interrupted him. I know why you're here. In fact, I was waiting for you. Emmanuel was surprised. You know why I'm here? For what? Yes, I do. But I cannot help you. She will not speak to me, nor will she communicate with you, because you didn't do something you were supposed to do. What do you mean? If you want to speak to her, you must first go to the bank of the Eresma River, right before dawn on Sunday. Follow the swans. You will find all the answers to your questions there. Could you give us some more specific? Without another word, Esteban closed the door. Miguel was shocked and confused, but Emmanuel wasn't impressed or fooled by this man's so-called psychic abilities. He knew exactly what happened. What did you say? He doesn't take money? Other healers take money and become rich, and he lives here like a beggar? Call him whatever you want. You can't deny there's something about him. How did he know? Oh, please, Miguel. You told him everything about me, didn't you? I swear, Emmanuel, I didn't. This is the first time I came here. I heard about him from Mr. Sanchez. Feeling a little skeptic and intrigued by his encounter with this strange man, Emmanuel went to the bank of the Eresma River near dawn on Sunday. At this time, there was no one around. Clouds were swirling in the bluish-red skies. The swans swam out, shaking their feathers. Emmanuel walked down, enjoying the cool breeze, when he suddenly stood still, seeing the swans swim amidst white lilies that were growing by the bank. Emmanuel's heart started to race. Was this why Gabriella wouldn't speak to him? Was this what he was to find? Close your eyes, I have a surprise for you. Emmanuel, this isn't another prank, is it? You'll find out. These feel like petals. You got me lilies. Oh, these are even more beautiful than the last. Not as beautiful as you, Gabriella. Emmanuel took out his pocket knife and cut the lilies. He used to give these very white lilies to Gabriella. But he used to buy them from the market, and these were fresh. Gabriella would love them. After a long time, Emmanuel was feeling happy. He took the bunch of lilies. He knew exactly where to go. The place where Gabriella loved to sit and watch the sunset right before attending the Sunday preachings, high on the peaks of Peñalara. As the sun rose, Emmanuel stood there holding the flowers. Would he be able to communicate with her? Would she speak to him? Sweetheart, are you there? Are you listening to me? I heard you don't want to speak to me. I'm sorry. Look what I've brought for you. I know how you love the smell of lilies. I remember how beautiful you used to look when you put them in your hair. Gabriella, please don't be upset with me. This mistake won't happen again. I'll bring you flowers every day. Emmanuel suddenly felt a cool breeze. He got a strange feeling as he felt a presence. Was it Gabriella? He couldn't see anything, but there was something in the winds that spoke to him through their chiming tunes. Feeling the first warm rays of the sun, Emmanuel felt like his grief had lessened. He was filled with a sudden sense of regret for having doubted Esteban. Emmanuel immediately returned to town, where he bought a basket of fruits, and with the bunch of lilies, he traveled all the way to the old house again and knocked on the door. Upon seeing him and what he brought, Esteban nodded. Now you have come to your senses. Mr. Esteban, I've come to thank you. Please accept my gift. Esteban shook his head. No, first you will have to do something. Return to your home. Tonight, a visitor will come to you. He will be your guest. Take care of him for 3 days, and on the evening of the next day, bring him here with you. A visitor? Go, return to your home. Esteban closed the door, leaving Emmanuel awestruck. He left the flowers and the fruit basket on the porch and headed back home. Who could this visitor be? Emmanuel was feeling stressed, assuming the visitor would be Esteban himself. Perhaps he would perform a seance here to speak to Gabriella, but he didn't even know Emmanuel's address. No, maybe he did. There was something about this man. That night, Emmanuel cleaned his entire home. He made arrangements for food and drink from the nearby restaurant and waited for his visitor. However, as the clock ticked by 8, 9, 10, and no one had arrived, Emmanuel was becoming a little anxious. He had dozed off at the kitchen table when he suddenly woke up around 11, hearing a strange tapping noise from the front door. It almost sounded like scratching. Emmanuel hurried to open the door. The night was pitch dark, and there was no one there. Or so Emmanuel had thought. All of a sudden, he heard a dog bark. There on his porch sat a small black dog staring at him. At first, Emmanuel was a bit frightened. Whose dog was this? How did he suddenly get here, at this time of the night? He was about to shoo the dog away when he remembered Gabriella. Gabriella loved animals. Gabriella, you have to get all these birds off our roof. Emmanuel, they're just having a little fun. Can you get the bird feeder down for me? I have to refill it. When will you be back? I won't be long. I spoke to Mrs. Isabella about the kittens. She wants to adopt them. They'll finally have a home now. I'm actually going to miss taking care of them. Was this dog his visitor? Emmanuel picked up the small dog in his arms and took him back inside. What would he feed him? There was a lot of food, but what would he offer this small dog? So Emmanuel got a bowl and poured out some milk. He brought it to the dog, but it sat still on the ground looking at him. Emmanuel rubbed the dog's back and urged him towards the bowl. It began drinking the milk as Emmanuel sighed. Darn you, holy man, this is the visitor you send me? All of a sudden, the dog sat up and looked at Emmanuel again. Okay, sorry, drink your milk. Emmanuel took care of the small dog, preparing a place for it to sleep, eat, and allowed it to roam freely in the house. It was a hassle. But exactly 4 days later, Emmanuel drove out to Esteban's house with the dog in the evening. The weather was cool today, and the closer he reached by the mountains, the more the winds picked up. Emmanuel wrapped the dog in his jacket when he left the car. There was still a distance to cover by foot before he could reach Esteban's home. But it was quite difficult to see in the secluded area. Emmanuel lit his lighter every now and then and managed to travel across the mud path. He stood there on Esteban's porch, but before he had even knocked, Esteban opened the door. You've arrived. Come in. Emmanuel suddenly felt anxious. This was the first time Esteban invited him inside. He was surprised to realize that Esteban didn't have any electricity in the house. The only source of light were a few candles. It seemed that the man led a simplistic lifestyle, similar to Emmanuel himself. There was only a few pieces of furniture in the house. The curtains were all drawn, and the house was dark and gloomy. Emmanuel followed Esteban to one of the rooms. The only thing inside there was a table and a chair that Esteban had moved away. Around the corners of the room, he had lit a number of candles. Emmanuel watched as Esteban took one of them and poured out the wax into a circle on the ground. Give me the dog. Emmanuel nodded as he handed the dog over. Esteban placed the dog in the center of the circle. Strange as it was, the dog sat still, whereas there wasn't an instance where the dog hadn't walked around in Emmanuel's house. What is this you're doing? Do not ask questions to which you will not understand its answer. Esteban went to the corner of his room and brought out a box. Emmanuel watched curiously as he took out a thin, sharp knife and presented it to him. Sacrifice. Emmanuel furrowed his brows and looked at Esteban. What do you want me to do? I do not repeat my words. But how can I? Do you want to communicate with your wife or not? Emmanuel suddenly started to get a bad feeling about this man. How could he ask him to take a life? A holy man would never do such a thing. Do you not want to know her last words? What she was struggling to tell you? I do. At the price of a life? No. Emmanuel couldn't accept this. There could be no goodness in this. I can't do this. But when Emmanuel went to pick up the dog, it suddenly started barking. He was shocked to see the dog's unusual behavior. It had become so aggressive. Why was he behaving like this? Was he sensing something? They say animals sensed evil spirits. Calm down, boy, Emmanuel said as he tried to stop the dog. But the small dog became even more aggressive, barking at him continuously. Esteban suddenly ushered the rogue dog. The dog immediately stopped and returned by his feet. "You've done well," he said, stroking the dog's head. After everything that had happened, it was now that Emmanuel truly came to his senses. "So this is your master." All of a sudden, the door behind Emmanuel shut closed as a strong breeze blew through the window, making all the candles flicker. "The Lord shall assist me tonight. You will not escape his hands." "You unholy man, you are naught but the knight of the devil. You think you will get away after knowing our reality? There is no turning back now. I had become faithless. I became misguided to the point demons like you attempted to do evil through me, what I forgot. But if there could be someone evil and dark like you, there is also one that bears light and all goodness. How amazing is the Lord of Light, the Lord I believe in. He brought me back into faith by a wicked demon like you. It's never too late to return back to him." "No, your Lord has betrayed you, forsaken you in your time of need. He took your beloved away from you, you fool. Death will all take us, but that doesn't mean it's over. My wife is in a better place now with the Lord of Light, and I will soon meet her. But what will happen to you?" "You will suffer. You'll taste the wrath of the Dark Lord. The day he will reign over you all is soon to come." "Mr. Alvarez, we're sorry. We'll go. Come on, you guys. Let's go, let's go." "Hold on now. Come here, all of you." "Mr. Alvarez, we're sorry. We won't do it again." "It's all right. Do you want to see what I brought with me?" "Flowers. There is one for all of you." "What are we going to do with this?" Having found faith in the Lord again after being led far from his way, Emmanuel was able to recover from the grief he felt for his late wife. He knew his wife might not have been with him anymore, but she was waiting for him. She was watching over him. Emmanuel still brought her flowers every morning when he went out to walk by the river. It made him feel closer to her, sometimes as if she were standing right there by his side. "There's not a day I don't miss you, Gabriella." Emmanuel placed the white lilies by his bedside. He pulled open the curtains, letting in the fresh air. As he admired the beauty of the clouds swirling in the sky, a sudden gust of wind blew into the house, running through his hair. All of a sudden, Emmanuel heard something shatter. He went to the living room and hurried to pick up one of the photo frames from the floor. He sighed, picking up the picture of him and Gabriella on their wedding day. He started cleaning up the pieces of glass, overwhelmed by old memories, when he noticed a piece of paper folded inside the frame. What was this? Emmanuel curiously opened it up. "To my beloved Emmanuel, my love for you has grown so much over the years I've been with you. I would sacrifice it all for a chance to spend these moments again. I know my death is coming near, and I know you won't stop trying for me till the very end. I fear I might have many things left to say, and I fear it might be too late. I don't want to leave having regret. If only I would have seconds more to speak to you. I write you this letter to tell you how much I love you. If I had to choose between life and love, I'd take my last breath to tell you I love you." Tears dropped onto the piece of paper as Emmanuel read all the things Gabriella wanted to share with him. Reading the long letter over and over again, the years she had been with him flashed before his eyes as he laughed at the memories while he cried at others. This was what Gabriella wanted to tell him. These were her last words. Emmanuel was once again overwhelmed by the cool breeze that blew through his home. He took in a deep breath. The smell of the white lilies were fresh in the air. Gabriella, you're still with me, aren't you? Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.